It's the Scotty Myers Show.
Hey there, welcome to this week's edition of the show. Hopefully you've been having a fantastic week so far. I'm your host, Scotty Myers. Welcome to this week's episode. Start this week with a little training update. If you missed on the past episodes, I have signed up to do the half marathon at Walt Disney World in January. Now, I've been doing some running training because I'm doing a 10K in basically 3 weeks. I've run before, I've run this 10K before, so that's not the big thing. It's just getting back into the running habit. But our trainer changed how we used to do hill training. We would do hills 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, run for 30 seconds, walk for 30 seconds. And it was still challenging because you're running up a hill, down a hill, that type of thing. But he changed it the last few weeks, and we've been running 2 minutes straight up the hill and then jogging back down and then another 2 minutes straight up the hill. So it hasn't been the most fun running training that we've been going through. But I know it's going to pay off, not only in this 10K, but as we work towards the Disney half marathon, which I cannot wait to be part of. I'm really, really looking forward to it. The goal here, though, once I get past this 10K, is to really focus on a running training program that will have me ready for that half marathon in January. And that's not going to be easy where I live. The weather's not the best, especially once we get into the winter. So see how I can do. But that's a little running training update. I had a couple of people ask, like, how is the training going? It's going well, just very painful. Something else that I've been doing a little bit of, my wife and I, we've been doing some home reno work, and we're kind of tackling a bathroom. And the only reason I bring this up really is I don't understand what goes through some people's heads. Like when they're sitting down at their computer and they're on Facebook and they see something, I don't know the process that goes through someone's brain sometimes before they write a comment. We have a bathroom that we're going to get redone. And basically it's got a wood floor. We're going to put in a tile floor. And we need somebody that can put tiles down. So we post a little question in a Facebook marketplace. Anybody know any tile people? And the comments that come in, like some people, it looks fine. Why change it? It's not your fucking bathroom. If it was your bathroom, you wouldn't change it. It's our bathroom. We want to change it. What the fuck? Like, why is that a comment? And then people going, oh, well, that's an easy job. You can do it yourself. It might be an easy job, not for me. I am not a very handy person. I don't know how to cut tile. So glad that it's easy for you. If it's so fucking easy, you come do it. And I'm not even paying you if it's that fucking easy. So, come on, just use your head. If you know somebody that can do it, we're willing to pay them. Recommend them on the Facebook comment. Don't be a smartass. Just take a second. Sometimes they say when you're talking to somebody and you're about to say something that's going to upset them, they say, take a breath. And then if you still want to really say it, say it. Do that with posts too. Take a breath. And if you still, after taking a breath, think it is a good idea, maybe then go ahead. I'm willing to bet if you took a second, you'd rethink it and you wouldn't look so damn stupid online. Anyway, so those are just a couple of little things that happened throughout the week in my own life. And now on to the silliness of the show. I saw a little thing about sex myths. Now, I am curious about sex constantly. Just ask my wife. And I found this interesting because these are facts that we all kind of agree on. When I read these, I'm like, yes, these are facts. But according to men and women, they are myths. So here are 5 according to men that everybody thinks is true, but according to men, they're not. So number 5, good sex needs to last a long time. As a guy, I don't even know why we said that was a fact, to be totally honest. I mean, as long as we explode, it was a good time. If that takes 5 seconds or 5 minutes, I don't think most of us care. Number 4, good sex has to be spontaneous. In my head, I'm like, yeah, it has to just be the passion of the moment. But no, you know what? If you put it in your phone as an appointment and that little reminder comes up, it's still good. Oysters are an aphrodisiac. That one I don't know. Oysters make me sick. Number 2, big hands or big feet mean you got a big dick. I would like to think everything is proportioned, but I would be living proof that that's not true. I've got pretty decent sized hands and not decent sized junk. So I am definitely a shower, not a grower, but you can see my hands. And men think about sex every 7 seconds. Men claim it's not that often. That is true. It's more than that. It's probably like every 3 seconds. According to women, these are the 5 sex myths that we all think are facts. Number 5, good sex has to end in a climax. Thank you, ladies. Do you know how much pressure that takes off us guys? That if you don't get there, it can still be good sex? That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Number 4, women stop self-pleasuring when they're in a relationship. I would assume that's like guys. You still do it, just not as often. Men like sex more than women. I'm sorry, women. I know you like it, but I have a feeling guys like it more. I'm sorry. That one I still buy as a fact. Number 2, size really matters. Again, thank you. I love these women ones that they say are actual myths because, that helps us little fellas there. And number 1, all women have a G-spot and know how to find it. That, I would say, I'm glad that's a myth because, listen, if you can't find it, how the fuck do you expect me to find it? The only way I'm finding it is on a trip over it, like a toy in the dark. Anyway, so those are just some sex myths that we all think are facts, and I'm glad most of them are not. Now, time for the off story of the week, and by offs, we mean, oh, for fuck's sake, and this one's a doozy. In your online adventures this week, you may have come across a movie trailer for a film that I still can't believe is a real movie. Like, I have a real hard time. The trailer went up on May 12th. Or somewhere around there. And it's been kind of making the rounds around the internet. Now, the movie is called Loqueesha. And I'm gonna play you a little bit of the trailer here that kind of sets up the film. I'm cutting it down just so you get an idea on what this movie is. And then I'm gonna play some choice cuts from this trailer.
I don't charge for my advice.
Well, you should. Because it was amazing. I saw this and I thought of you. You will be a hit in no time.
I submitted myself to a radio station for my own show.
Well, congratulations.
They rejected me.
Well, congratulations then.
If I was a black woman, I'd be perfect.
She's brilliant. I know. Get her in here.
Loqueesha gonna be
The biggest thing in radio, but I still need my anonymity.
So there's the premise of this movie. A white guy that is great at giving advice decides to pretend to be a black woman because that's the only way he can land a job. And that's okay, apparently. No, it's not. It's not okay. I don't know when this script was written, 1930? Here's the thing about this. This guy, he wrote another movie called The Test. And it was all about tricking your soon-to-be wife by putting her through like all the worst case scenarios that could happen in a marriage. Like, I lost my job, I have a terminal illness, all this. You watch the trailer for that. It's painfully unfunny. But somebody gave him the money to make it. At least that one I can understand. This one, not only does he already have a previously shitty movie, but now he's written this movie that is so wrong, and people still gave him money to make it. This is just absolute proof. If you have an idea, dear God, it can't be worse than this. Start a GoFundMe or something. Make your movie. If this idiot made a movie, you can make your movie. The idea can't be worse than this. And even based on the premise, you're going, that's bad. Let's listen to some choice cuts from Loqueesha.
You live with Loqueesha. What's your problem?
Hi, Loqueesha. It's free.
Oh, I ain't talking to you, not the way you sound. Next caller.
You go, girl.
Okay, so that's incredibly bad. And what's funny is I've seen some people online going, what's the difference between this and Tyler Perry? doing Medea. Tyler Perry, it's a black man. It's a huge difference between this guy, a white guy, playing a black woman. He's not even playing a black woman. He's it keeps going.
I am Loqueesha, officer.
I wish you could see that clip. That's so officer, I am Loqueesha. Stop it. Like, honestly, this guy is half a step away from blackface. How is this a thing? So bad. There's so many things wrong with this movie. It's mind-numbing in its stupidity. This one might be the worst clip from the trailer.
I think I might be a black woman trapped in a white man's body.
How do you sit down and type out that sentence and think it is a good idea, let alone a joke? Because I think that's supposed to be one. Like, not only is the premise bad, you know what? Everything about this is bad. You need to watch this trailer. I'll put it up, Scotty Mars Show on Facebook. And I hate giving it views, but at the same time, you might think I'm making this up, that this is not real. Sadly, this is all too real. And also, you have to watch it because the guy that stars in it is also the writer-director, and there's like a filter on his face through the whole fucking movie. Like, he's probably in his 50s, but he's trying to look like he's 20. The guy's living in a really messed up world. And I just want to take it in another little direction here. So anybody listening to the show, you may or may not know, I used to work in radio, and I got fired, and it sucked. And I spent a lot of time looking for another radio job, firing off demo after demo after demo. You know what I never thought to do? Anything like this. I only ever sent out me. Why? I'm not insane. Which is the only way to describe what this guy is, thinking that this was a good idea. You know, you go back to the original clip where his normal, like, white guy demo wasn't good enough to get him the job. Maybe because it sucked. Because based on the work that he's doing here, writing, directing this movie, he sucks. Alrighty, on to the geek news of the week. Let's start with a little congratulations for the Avengers, shall we? The nominees came out for the MTV Movie and TV Awards, and Avengers Endgame leads the field with 4 nominations. It is tied with Game of Thrones and RBG for that number of nominations. Endgame is up for Best Movie. Its competition is Black Klansman, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and Us. I could see Endgame walking away with that. The host of the show, Zachary Levi, of course, he played Shazam this year, and he's up for Best Hero and Best Comedic Performance. You can vote for your favorites in each category over at MTV.com. And speaking about the Avengers, this is going to be an interesting weekend at the box office because the Avengers has been number 1 since it came out. No surprise there. However, this week it is taking on John Wick as John Wick Chapter 3 opens up, and some industry insiders are predicting John Wick will take out the Avengers. Which, when I say it like that, doesn't that sound like a movie you want to see? John Wick versus the Avengers? I kind of want to see that. If you have not seen the John Wick movies, dear God, do yourself a favor, rush right out and see them. I can't wait to see Chapter 3. Now, you may remember a week or so ago, we announced that Marvel and Disney were unveiling new TV shows that were not going to be part of the Disney Plus streaming service, that they were actually going to be on Hulu, and it was focusing on Ghost Rider, and it was going to be some of the darker characters in the Marvel universe, like we might get a Moon Knight TV show over on Hulu. But it was odd that they were going over there instead of Disney's own streaming service. Well, now we understand why. Disney now controls Hulu. Just a few weeks after they bought Fox, they now have a controlling interest in Hulu. Comcast still owns about 33% of the streaming service, but Disney, for all intents and purposes, owns it and runs it. They do control the content on there, so it makes sense that they spread their brands out over both streaming services just to hit more people. Makes a whole lot of sense, and now we understand why those shows are on Hulu. Switching over to the DC film universe, production is ramping up on the Suicide Squad reboot, sequel. I'm not sure what to call it. Some are calling it a reboot, but people are returning, which makes no sense. Some call it just a reset. That might make more sense. But we still don't know who Idris Elba is going to be playing in the new Suicide Squad movie. And a rumor came out this week that he could be playing Deathstroke. Now, here's the thing. We've seen Deathstroke in the DC film universe. Joe Manganiello was playing him. He shows up in the post-credits sequence of Justice League. And he was supposed to be the main villain in Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie and then eventually get his own film. But with Ben stepping away and it being an entirely new script, we really don't know where that sits right now. Is Deathstroke still on the table, or could they recast him? It's kind of all up in the air. The rumor is based on the fact that somebody somewhere got to see a little bit of the script, and apparently the character that Idris Elba plays has at least one child, if not more than one. And that led to speculation that he would play Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, because he's got a couple of kids. They turn into heroes and villains of their own. That would make a nice tie-in to maybe doing either a Teen Titans movie or a Young Justice live-action movie. So a lot of people were speculating on that. I still don't see him as Deathstroke. I think for now they're going to leave Joe Manganiello in that part. I still see him play else. My money's still on Bronze Tiger, especially since James Gunn has talked about the storylines that influenced his writing, featured Bronze Tiger. I think that would make a whole lot of sense. And you could just rewrite the character to have a kid. I mean, there's nothing set in stone that says the film version of that character doesn't have a child. So to me, that's still where I would put my money. I think he'd be a badass Deathstroke, but I just don't see it. I don't think DC is doing a full reboot of their universe. They're just kind of changing a few things here and there. So I think we could still see that Deathstroke movie with Joe Manganiello in the lead some point down the road. And James Bond is filming right now, Bond 25. We still don't know the title of the movie. However, they had to shut down production for a week because Daniel Craig hurt himself. Apparently, they were filming a scene where he was sprinting and he slipped and fell quite awkwardly. He was flown to the U.S. for x-rays. They were filming in Jamaica, and they had to suspend shooting of the film. They said he was in quite a lot of pain, complaining about his ankle. Reports are coming out now that he will be back next week, and they'll pick up production again, and this shouldn't affect the release of the film or anything like that. But when you read it, you're like, oh my gosh, Daniel Craig hurt shooting a James Bond movie. I wonder what happened. And then it's like, oh, he was running and hurt his ankle. It kind of pales when you hear like Tom Cruise broke his leg jumping from building to building, making a Mission Impossible movie. Hopefully Daniel Craig has a speedy recovery and we find out the title of Bond 25 sooner rather than later. I'm very curious to find out what they're calling this damn thing. That will do it for this week's episode of the show. Don't forget, find us on social media. We're all over the place like a bad skin rash. You can find us on Facebook, The Scotty Mars Show, Scotty Mars Show on Instagram, at Scotty Mars on Twitter. Any questions, comments, ideas for the show, you can reach out to me on any of those social media platforms and let's have a little chat about it. Don't forget to like us, subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts from. Do us the favor, like us, review us, give us that 5-star rating, even drop a few words there if you want. And until we speak again, have a great week.